A committed relationship to me, typically no cheating, I guess, you know what I'm saying? Like my man said, you don't have to use condoms. You shouldn't have to use condoms, but in today's society, I will use a condom.
It's the beauty of life allowing us to find that one committed relationship to where we can be loyal, have trust and honesty to build a happy home.
Kicking it to me is what I do. I'm a young college student. I'm in tune enough with myself to know that I'm not ready to be in a committed relationship. It's just what it is. So I'm kicking it. How I define kicking it is we may go on a few dates. We don't necessarily talk every day, but whenever you want that cuddle buddy, maybe whatever you need, I'm that guy.
I've kicked it, before, my younger day, like I'm old or something, but back when I was in college, that's what I did, hey, what you doing? Nothing, come, watch a movie, let's, get together and do that, but it wasn't like any genuine time spent together. It wasn't really trying to really get to know the core of the person and different things like that. You was just hanging out, just doing whatever.
It's the surface.
But when one person decides, I'm no longer just kicking it, I'm trying to move, I'm trying to progress, then we have issues. Because kicking it can turn into time wasting.
I was in a relationship. Well, I was in a relationship. He wasn't in a relationship. But I kept hoping that eventually he would be like, yes, I want to be with you. But eventually he was like, hey, we have to stop having sex because I found the person I want to be with. And I was like, oh. So that's that break in reality. My reality was something, his reality was something else. So, of course, that didn't work out.
So let me say this. If I got a cup of juice and somebody wasted, no problem. I could get some more juice. If I got money and I waste it, no problem. I could get some more money. But I don't waste my time. And I won't let anybody else waste my time. Because when you waste my time, bro, you waste my life, and I can't get that back. But we waste that time. And when we're called on the commitment question, here's the patent answer. I thought we were just kicking it.
I'm not going to say I wasted her time, because that wasn't my intention. I had good intentions. I thought things were going to work out differently. They just did not.
I have been in a relationship where I felt like I've wasted the young man's time. Yes, I have. But at the same time, I was telling him, not directly telling him, but I was telling him that it wasn't working, but he was not being accepting of it.
If you waste somebody's time for 9 whole months, that's 9 months of their lives that they're not going to get back.
There isn't a process that has been working, because if there was, there wouldn't be as many people, women or men, playing the game, going around in circles, doing that, because there is no process. I was that guy who was hurting all kind of people, not purposefully. I just realized one day I was that guy, because there was no process for those people. Those people were just going, I met somebody nice. They do spend that hour of time with me. They do text me right back.
That's what I was
You gotta be trustworthy, honest, and you gotta spend time. And you got to do what you did to get me to keep it.
Yes.
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 Maybe.
Maybe. Yes.
Yes. It depends on what was involved in the system, because that sounds like magic, magic really happens. So, I don't know what kind of black magic that is, but yeah, I don't know.
I would absolutely follow a system if there was a book to tell me, because you need that. Honestly, when you're younger, you think you know, but I feel like we need more people to sit down, especially married people, to sit down and truly talk to you about it. I feel like if there was a book or someone to tell me that, yeah, I would definitely listen, knowing what I know now. Absolutely.
I wish there was a secret formula. If you have it, I would like to know what it is.
Yes, I would follow it. I think I would follow it. Especially, there would be a couple of questions like, what's the underpinning of it for me? But I want to be married. I want to create this legacy with someone, you know, and have something to leave behind for generations, and have people be inspired by, you know, our lives and be impactful, right? So, yeah, I would do it.
All women seem to be the same, but it's just little differences here and there. But if you treat them right, then that long-distance relationship can flourish like a rose garden that's been touched by the green thumb.
A committed relationship is a healthy bond of two agreeing parties.
LoveCommitment.com, I wrote it as a novel to reach people, because sometimes when you preach at people, they don't feel it, they don't hear it. But I wrote a story in order to give them something that they could feel that would relate to their life and they could build principles from. So the love commitment is a structure. It's a way to format and frame a relationship so that you get the kind of outcomes that you're looking for. Otherwise, if there's no process, there's no product. And you get whatever you get, because that's what it is.
Women decide who they want to date. Men decide who they want to marry. You know? It's like, oh yeah, you know, oh, I'm going to date this guy, ha, 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 ha. I'm going to date this guy, ha, ha, ha. But then after a while, it's like, I'm not going to marry you. Thank you for coming out, you know, thank you for trying. Next, you know?
Before you can even begin selecting on a serious level, you have to know yourself. You know, you have to know the qualities that you're looking for. You have to know your qualities. You have to know what's compatible with you. And just to be honest with it, you know, I don't think that dating at an early age, in my mid-20s or so, I don't think that I was as conscious as I could have been about some aspects of myself.
So the first step is to know yourself. That might take a year, that might take 5 years, that might take 10 years. But before you look for somebody else, you got to know yourself.
So initially when we talk and get to know each other, I do the thing of laying my cards out on the table. This is who I am, here's my flaws, this is where I've been, and this is what I'm looking for. That may be a little too much for people or men, because they're not used to a woman being so candid and very straightforward. But I believe that is the best approach for me, because I'm not the type of person to be in his house and there's a pink elephant in the room and not talk about it. I didn't grow up that way.
I tell women, hey man, it takes me 2 years for me to call you my girlfriend, if it even gets to that point. Because I need to know what you're like when you're angry. I need to know what you're like when you're sad. I need to know what you're like when I think you're lying or when you think I'm lying. That we need to test the whole gamut of situations. So I'm not going to just jump out there like, oh yeah, we had sex, I enjoy hanging with you, we go together. That's not how it works. It takes me a while, you know? This is not 7th grade. If I say we go together or we're in a relationship, that means I can potentially see myself marrying you, you know? Yeah, I think that's an honor within itself.
Or brothers say, I need to know what she's like when like this, in the morning, in the evening. I need to know if that's fake and what. No, you need to know you, bruh. When you know you, then you'll know what you're looking for. And she can be beautiful. You can be 10 women that look almost identical. Scratch, 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 scratch. Okay, that's you. Because I know me. I know what I'm looking for. Step 1, know yourself.
Allowing us to actually taste the different spice of life, because knowing that the beauty of committed relationships and make the world go around to where we can get sound advice.
I think trust above anything else is what a relationship is, period.
is different from me because growing up I had always been someone's girlfriend and I was always in some type of relationship. So I went from being someone's girlfriend to someone's fiance to someone's wife, and then I moved here and it's just totally different dynamics. So I had to learn like the whole dating game, which was very different from me. Like friends with benefits, I'm not the type to do friends with benefits because I know I'm a relationship person. But then all the games of people pretending to be something they're really not and just telling you what they want you to hear, it's something that I was a little green about when I first moved here. So I had to quickly learn the terminology and just weed people out based on their words not aligning with their actions.
Selection for me has always been very natural chemistry. I try not to force it. I can be in the heart of Atlanta surrounded by beautiful women, but I'm not just going to talk to you just because you're attractive. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a huge draw, but there has to be some form of interaction. So most of the times I'm probably meeting women in a networking setting, maybe from church or school or someplace where I can kind of get to know you without the stress of like, I'm just walking up to you, some dude off the street, trying to get your phone number and trying to promise you all this great stuff.
So I'm going to try to, I guess, do a more of a weed out process or even weed myself out of the situation because it might not be her, it might be me.
Knowing yourself is a prereq. You can't even start this process unless you know yourself. Now, the first formal stage of the love commitment is the weed out stage. That's the selection process. That's who you choose, who you approach, why you approach them, where you approach them. Okay? Most folks are meeting with obstacles and failure in their terms because they're approaching people who never seem to work out, but they're going to the same place to find these people.
My last ex I met at a fraternity party. It was like a gala. The one before that, I met him at an Atlanta Greek picnic.
Actually, I met both of them at my church.
The last one I met at church. And the one before that, I actually met through my mom at a party. It was kind of like a hookup. So let me just put that disclaimer out there. Never let your mother set you up.
Some of the men that I've met, they have an elevator speech. They have their name, they have their position, how much money they make, what kind of car they have. It's more about stuff that has no substance for me.
I'm a firm believer that once I meet a woman, it's like, hey, look, this is who I am. Whether you like it or not, this is who I am. I'm going to take you to Applebee's, you know? Let's meet up at Applebee's. Let's have $2.99 Long Island's. Long Island's. Don't get any other drink. Long Island's. You don't drink Long Island's? They got $2.99 margaritas. Let's go to Dave & Buster's. It's half off happy hour from 10 to 12. And I play video games. So I take them to the extreme. I'm not going to take you to Chez Raphael's and wear a suit and talk about my accomplishments. You don't need to know my accomplishments. I'm interviewing you just like you're interviewing me.
The weed out stage is a series of 3 to 4 dates over a month's time. And there are particularities on how you do this. But you're asking key questions. You're finding out background information. You're finding out who this person is. And here is a key. You have to listen to who they tell you they are.
I'm a very attentive listener, so I will let you repeat yourself several times and see if your stories match up.
If they tell you they're a player, Ricky is cute, but believe Ricky when he says he's a player. Tell Ricky, thank you, I've had a great evening. Find you someone else. Because we like to blame people for wasting our time. The person who wastes the most time in our relationship often is us.
I personally believe relationships are fidelity, true fidelity. You know what I'm saying? You ain't cheating, you ain't out wilding out. You know, you're being committed.
I was casually dating a guy
who was leading a double life. He had a girlfriend in one state and was doing long distance with her, but living in the city that I lived in. Happened to be a couple of months down the line, I got a message via email from a female asking me about this individual, and it turns out that that was his fiance. So you hear with both your eyes and your ears to a certain degree, right? So if a person tells me that they love sports, but they never, I'm like, oh, I have tickets to the game. Like, oh, I really don't want to go. Like, oh, we're playing flag football this Friday. Do you want to hang out? Like, no, I really don't do that type of thing. I'm starting to wonder how that transfers into other pieces of your life.
I use movies a lot. Movies. Like, I'll watch Love Jones. And there's a certain part in Love Jones that almost every girl I've dated, I just kind of sit and watch, and then I perfectly will ask this question. And it's just like real subtle. They don't see it coming, but it's like, it's one of those questions, you're either here or here. You can't lie, you can't fake it. You're either a mature woman or you're a girl in a woman's body who's maturing. Like, there's no in between.
You have gone through the weed out phase. You've gotten acceptable answers to your necessary questions. You check these boxes. You think you're ready to move this thing now to the next stage. Next stage is verification. You've heard the answers. This sounds like the kind of person you want to deal with. But now you need to know if what they've told you about themselves is actually true.
E-Verify, there's background investigations, Social Security. There's all types of stuff on the internet that you can do to make sure that what he's telling you is actually the truth.
Why are you asking me all of this? I don't want to get in all of that.
And you're crazy. And you're crazy.
29-year-old Justin I would be comfortable with, not in the first day, that's a little too much, a little too intrusive, a little too aggressive. But second, third date, I wouldn't think that was an inappropriate line of questioning. It wouldn't make me feel uncomfortable unless I just wanted to kick it.
Okay. He was like I said, he was somebody that I met through a friend, and I just started talking to him, and of course, at first he seemed really, really nice, and at that time, like I mentioned before, I was just lonely, so I needed somebody to keep my company. I wanted somebody to wake up beside in the morning and stuff like that. But eventually it just got aggravating. Like, he didn't have a car, he didn't have a job, he had just got out of jail, so everything he kept talking about was jail, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I think the worst part for me is I went over his house for dinner, his parents' house, because that's where he stayed. This was all wrong. And we had steak for dinner, and he was eating the steak with his hands, and I'm like, why don't you use a knife? And he's like, because they didn't give us knives in jail. I'm like, you're not in jail. And that was the point where I was like, I can't do this. This is just too much.
I confronted her and said, I thought we was just kicking it. And she's like, well, that's when I wanted at first. Now I decided I want you. I was like, I don't think I want the same thing. She punched me in my arm, and then she told me, I'm pretty. Nobody tells me they don't want me. Then she started calling my phone and leaving messages, and then calling me and acting like she was looking for somebody else. And it was actually a guy named Brandon who she was actually kicking it with.
What part of was this?
This was Valdosta. But she was like, hey, Brandon. And I was like, no, this is not Brandon. You dialed my number. And I get home one night, and there's an envelope in front of my door with letters cut out of a magazine. I said, Justin, are you scared yet? I'm glad you guys think it's funny, because I didn't at the time.
So verification says, check it out. Look, it might be a lot of energy. It may be a lot of investment for you. But I guarantee you this. You pay now or you pay later.
Yeah, he was very trifling, and he kept some very important information that I needed to know. And then I find out later on in the relationship. And so that was pretty much a deal breaker.
Look, you don't want to be dealing with somebody and you've invested all this time in a person. Oh, and he's married. He's not working out of town. He's going home when he tells you he's working. I knew a guy who told this woman he was living with that he was a porter and he worked on a train. And he was literally driving across town to live with his other family. Good dude, really nice guy, good sense of humor. but liar to the core. Now, why? Why did he do that? I'm not in his heart. I'm not in his mind. I don't know why he did it, but I know why people do it. They do it because they can. And they can because we let them. And no, I'm not blaming you as a victim. I'm blaming you as an empowered person who doesn't exercise your ability to verify whether or not what this person has told you about themselves is actually the truth.
Because knowing a committed relationship is honesty and trust, allowing us to live with love amongst our hearts, allowing us to be the spark of fire that is committed by desire.
Anything that you put your whole heart into is a committed relationship.
Being exclusive, I think we have to define that first, because
I mean,
sometimes,
you and me only.
No. Sometimes there are men who don't want you to have another man,
That's
but
what
I
I
don't
said.
want you only. So I mean, that kind of varies also.
That's what I'm saying.
When we
We
talk
want you to
about
believe
being
that.
exclusive,
I
yeah, I
want
want you to make sure that you don't give that to nobody else but
exclusive,
me.
but
But
exclusive means just you and me, not you.
well, see, that's the problem with the question, though. How do we define exclusive?
Exclusively focus on getting to know you for the pursuit of marriage. That is a committed relationship. Everything prior to that is dating. And if I see you out and you're dating someone else, I will buy you and your date a drink. Have a great time. See you later. So whenever a committed relationship comes about, we said that during the dating process, we've seen things in one another that we want to kind of isolate and not have any more distractions and figure out, is this something that I'd like to work on becoming a part of who I am and what I represent. And when people see you, they're going to think of me. And when people see me, they're going to think of you. And let's really figure out if we want to be attached in that way for the long haul.
So, you verified to your satisfaction that this person is who they say they are. Okay, fine. Now, you're at a decision point. Up until this point, there have been no strings. There have been no handcuffs. There's been none of that. There's been no requirements to stop seeing other people, because you're finding, you're exploring, you're understanding, you're gathering. But this is a decision point where you're deciding whether or not to be exclusive with this person.
I think it's situational. I mean, on a high level, I think that two people that share that mutual attraction, that are level-headed, I think pretty much anybody can make it.
So there could be 2 or 3 people that you have weeded out and verified as the kind of person that you're looking for. Okay, this is not a system that tells you exactly who to pick.
I think it's important to just say what you want outright. You know, all these people claim they're players and they're pimps and they max and everything. And my dad taught me that a real player lets a woman know, hey, this is what's going on. I like you, but I'm going to date other people. That's a real player. Not a guy who's sitting there like, yeah, girl, you my world, yeah. And then sneaks off like a chump, you know, and then tells the next girl the same thing. You know, I think a real player or a real person who has their stuff together is like, look, I like you, but, you know, I'm going to date other people. And then when I decide who I like to have a relationship, then, you know, you'll be one of the first to know. And that's just honest, you know, but that's not taught, you know? That's just not taught now these days.
I think as women, you tend to create stuff like, oh my God, you know, you're so blinded by the fineness that you overlook all these other flaws up until when you know, it hits you in the face and you're like, what was I thinking? But by then it's too late.
You lied to you. He didn't lie to you. You lied to you. You hoped. Oh, you know what? I guess he's telling me the truth. I hope he's telling me the truth. Girl, I don't know. I think he's telling me the truth. Girl, I'm just going to wait and see. You played yourself.
Women are dumb when it comes to deciding who who they want to talk to because they don't know any better. They think they know.
I am not, let me put that caveat out there now. I am not condoning slashing your man's tires, but if you must, this is some very helpful advice. If you're going to slash your man's tires, do not slash all 4 tires, because then if you slash all 4 tires, then the insurance, okay, will then pay for it. You have to slash 3 tires.
So, yeah, I think wasting time, I think it's one of those things that maturity will shorten your amount of wasted time. And you being bold enough to make decisions and sometimes leaving. Sometimes the best thing you can do is dump somebody.
Observation, information, intuition goes into you making a decision. You have to decide who to be exclusive with. Now, when I say exclusive, I mean you have this conversation with the person. We've been dating for a while. We have understood that we are the kind of people that we'd like to marry. But now we need to know if we are the exact people that we want to marry. So, I'd like to date you exclusively, and I want to know how you feel about that. It's got to be mutual. Now, some brothers feel like, oh, wow, if a lady said that to me, that put me on the spot. I feel like it was an ultimatum. Well, structure does that to you. Structure makes you feel like you have to make a decision. So you don't have to ask a person for an instant answer right then, but take 2 or 3 days. Take a week. But we've been spending time together, and the structure asks the question, what does this time mean? Where are we headed? Many people don't get results because they don't have a process. You have to have a process, or you're really not up to anything.
I say committed relationship is you gotta just be faithful, I guess. Like, I don't know, just no games, no drama. I mean, there's gonna be drama, but no like secrets. That's what I'm saying. And it's just, you gotta be truthful to one another. It's gotta be real love, not just about based on sex.
Got engaged, and he really wanted to be with me. The thing is that I set certain standards, so we're not going to spend a certain amount of time doing this, doing that. I feel like when a man commits, it's because not that you force him to commit, but you set standards. You set standards of who you are and what you're going to do with me. So if you want to be with me, then you need to get A, B, C, and D in order.
So people ask me, when are you in a love commitment? I weeded out. Am I in a love commitment? No. I verify. Is that a love commitment? No. I'm exclusive. Is that a love commitment? No. So what is a love commitment? A love commitment is when you have a public declaration of an engagement to be married. A public declaration of an engagement to be married. That's a love commitment. Everything else before that is not a commitment. It is a look-see. It is a maybe we can. It is a let me holler at you. It is not a commitment. Why do I say it's public? Because if I'm at my house with you on my couch and I say, hey, boo, let's get married. And you say, oh, well. And then I say, but don't tell anybody because I'm not ready for people to know just yet. I smell smoke.
Men want the woman that, like, we cannot leave alone. We want that, like, every dude wants this amazing woman. And if we're with you for all this time, whether we're wasting your time, if we're not committing to you, you simply are not that amazing woman that we're waiting for.
think they just don't want to at this point. I think they're at this, some men are at this point where they just feel like they're at their prime, they're just having a good time, and they just feel like you said, they don't want to miss out on this. What if this comes along, and they also get to feeling like if they have a special young lady we were talking about, once you're telling the young lady to spend the time, they also feel like she's not going anywhere.
Okay, now, the conspicuous element here is that in any of these stages, or in none of these stages, have I mentioned sex. I promote sex after marriage.
So I would definitely say that if that is the road that you want to travel, bless your heart and your ministry.
Feel like you're almost crazy to wait because you could get with somebody that you're just not compatible with.
People never waited to have sex. That's where the shotgun wedding come from. Mom 4 months pregnant in the wedding dress, and it's going down.
But because of the society we live in, I would say at least have a public engagement for marriage before sex.
If you're looking for a commitment from a guy, then you shouldn't even kid yourself into thinking, oh, I'm just going to sleep with this guy and it's not going to matter, eventually or whatever, maybe he'll commit, because then you playing yourself. Right?
Marriage is awesome. That is something that I strive for and aspire to have. I want a loving, fulfilling, fantastic marriage one day.
I think if women really want a relationship, hold out as long as possible.
That
one thing you can do, that one thing you have control of, will filter out all the whack dudes, all the dudes that don't want you. Even if you want to have sex with him, it's going to give him time to get to know you in a way where the sex is not going to be the main thing. And he's still going to marry you if he's going to marry you. It's going to happen.
As much as I'm on the other side of that, I agree with you.
Why? Because if you have no commitment, then you're still as vulnerable to the relationship ending as you were in the weed out stage, in the verification stage.
A lot of lies, a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and we just lived in it until we realized, like, we really have taken what really could have been beautiful and we've wasted one another's time. And then there came this point where we said, you know what, I don't want to look at you whenever I'm 30 and say that I wasted a lot of your time. And I love you too much for that to happen.
But let's just say somebody's resistant to this. It could be an indicator that that's not the person for you. It could be an indicator that they're not ready to be in that kind of committed relationship. If the sex is more important than establishing the commitment, perhaps this is not the person for you.
Some people, it's like the minute that dude blow your back out, you fall in love, you start calling him, you start seeing marriage, and for him it's just sex. A lot of people can't handle, some people, no, I'm saying, a lot of people can't handle it.
So I hear people saying they need to know if the sex is good. You have a phase to know if the sex is good, but it's going to cost you a commitment. Are you willing to trade a commitment for knowledge of the sex? Now, here is the real question. Do you want something for nothing? So I'm not naive. At first, there will be small pockets of people who adopt this love commitment system. People who are ready, people who are mature and looking for that mate. They've tried, hit and miss, and they want something that's more systematic. But as those people find success, the reach of this system will grow and grow and grow. And so a brother or a sister can't implement this by themselves. Marriage, relationships, it's a communal thing. So that's why we need love commitment relationship groups. love commitment book club discussion groups. You have to buy 2, 3, 4, 10 copies because it's to your advantage for the people in your circle to accept the love commitment system. So you all are on the same page when it comes to relationships. But the proof is in the pudding. My challenge is try the love commitment system. Sit down, go through the book and the love manual that brings out these principles from the story and puts them in a way that you can easily follow them. Try the system and judge it by its results.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Esther LaFontaine. I'm 32 years old, and I was born in Haiti, and I'm originally from Miami, Florida.
My name is Eric Gordon. I'm 31 years old, and I'm from Stockton, California.
My name is Woodson Plummer. I'm 29 years old, and I'm from Decatur, Georgia.
My name is Zelina Knuckles. I'm 30 years old, and I'm from Gainesville, Georgia.
Wayne Edwards, I'm 32 years old, Marietta, Georgia, by way of Vacherie, Louisiana.
Hey, my name is Laverne Key. I'm 28 years old, and I am from Atlanta, Georgia, by way of Wilmington, North Carolina.
My name is Tamika Bradley. I'm 29 years old, and I'm from Fort Pierce, Florida.
My name is Siobhan Hippolyte. I am 28 years old, and I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
My name is Noble Woods. I'm 32 years old, from Gary, Indiana.
My name is Brennan Jones. I am 21, and I'm from Nashville, Tennessee.
Justin Kernan, 29 years old, New York City, New York.
My name is Joe Armstrong. I'm 30-something years old. I'm originally from South Florida, and I live on the south side of Atlanta.
Because knowing that the beauty of finding the one that you can live with for the rest of your life is that life will become a journey instead of a reason to wonder what will happen tomorrow.
Go ahead.
La dum da dum da dum. Yeah, I said, baby, baby, give it to me. I said, baby, baby, give it to me. I said, baby, baby, give it to me. Exclusive company, baby, baby, give it to me. La, we in the spot. Kinda unstable. Yeah, we going to La La Land. Yeah, let's go to La La Land. Yeah, we going to La La Land. Come on, where you don't work too hard, baby. Where you ain't punching no cards, baby. Where you just fall, where you just hang. Verse 1, yeah. Hey, I know the short ain't in, but why snatch a cat with a big heart can't win? Cause love, I ain't them and I ain't trending. I don't claim to be nothing that I ain't been. I've been hot, baby, check out my old spits. I've been fly, but y'all want the road trips. Yeah, they street, but baby, I make globe hits. I've been live, so baby, come take me with for this dope shit. Hey, I'm hoping we can vibe. I know I'm from the bottom, but I be on a high class where we sound and call it divine. And I don't do dummy down, cause I love brains, I'm on my way to where the lovers go. But we can grow and we can do what we wanna do. With no rules and we can choose who we wanna choose. So let's get away the way it's just me and you, baby. I want you in La La Land. Yeah, yeah, come on to La La Land. Yeah, we gonna La La Land. Yeah, so give it to me. When you don't work too hard, baby. When you ain't pushing no cars, baby. When you just fall, when you just hang. Verse 2, yeah. And I ain't scared to love you, babe, we're a rare pair. So call me Braveheart, cause I'm a Care Bear. But I don't care what we spoon and let them look and stare. Shopping sprees on me, so no airfare. 5 first class there, not a coach class. Tote coach bags, rockin' Prada toe tags. Ride 100 miles an hour, mama go fast. In that coca white leg, mama blow cash. So just give it to me, I'm so snazz. Love, I'm a unique freak, I'm so ass. Is you feeling blue? Well, I ain't with the jazz. Love your heart broken, yeah, well, I'm the cash type. Let's have a blast like, let's get smashed like what we do last night. Baby, think different, they the nigga that act right. Let's kite, leave all the bull, baby, pack light. And we're gone. La La Land, yeah, yeah, come on to La La Land. Yeah, we going to La La Land, yeah. Where you don't work too hard, baby. I don't mean to joking, I don't mean to hoping, I don't mean to knowing. I don't mean to show my swagger. I hate sweetie, check me out on swagger. Yeah, I've been top notch before cash matters. Look, I'm hard body with the tattoos scattered. Cause I'm a boss, baby, come get mastered. I even take back as baby, come get flattered, laddered, capture the La La Land, yeah. couldn't spoil you then, but now I can. Man, I don't mean to smoking, I don't mean to joking, I don't mean to hoping, I don't mean to know, and I don't mean to show my swagger. But hey, sweetie, check me out, I'm swagger, yeah. I've been top notch for cash matter. Look, I'm hard bodied with the tattoos scattered. Plus I'm a boss, baby, come get mastered. I even take baggage, baby, come get flattered and laddered and captured in la la land, yeah. I couldn't spoil you then, but now I can. Now you say you're unhappy, love, well here I am. And why the mother suck his toes, baby girl, I'm jammed.